about the severance, right? And the impact and the intent. So that's what we are looking, sir. And if you have any thoughts on that in the future, if you're the person you're representing, they're more than welcome to come to the staff to discuss the future development. But right now, what is proposed, one lot, one piece of property is converted into three proposed properties, three proposed lots, right? Which we have a problem, which we do not agree respectfully. You have your opinion, no problem, we get it. And this committee could have the difference of opinion. I may think something else, my other two colleagues may think differently. That's the beauty, right? So thank you very much for your time and your input. If no further discussion or any comment by anyone else, I'm looking forward to proceed. Looking forward, committee members, any thoughts or anything you want to put forward?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I will put forward a motion to refuse this application as presented to this committee.
And go as staff's recommendation.
Absolutely.
The motion has been put forward by Ms. Marcus to refuse the application and go with the staff recommendation. Seconded by Mr. Cope. All in favor? This is refused unanimously. Thank you. I want to thank all the residents and the property caretaker, anyone who is online or in person. Thank you for their time and people who took the time to write down their letters to us. Thank you.
Calling item 8.1, A 2022-0211, Rogers Communication Inc. The property is addressed as 8200 Dixie Road.
Authorized agent Sarah Clark is present. Please come forward.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the committee, staff, and residents. My name is Sarah Clark. I'm a planner with Glenshire Associates. Partner Colin Chung from Glenshire Associates is also present virtually today. I have a very brief presentation to give.
Sure.
Thank you. Okay, so as mentioned, we're here today to speak to application A 2022-0211 on behalf of the owners, Rogers Communication, of the site municipally addressed as 8200 Dixie Road. For some context, I do confirm that this application was originally submitted back in 2022, however was deferred in order to have some further discussions with staff to confirm the variance requests. That being said, I do note that nothing has changed from the original application since 2022. And perfect, we're on the right side. So the subject property is located east of West Drive and west of Dixie Road. The site has an area of approximately 25.5 acres and is currently occupied by a single-story industrial building which is presently being utilized by our client Rogers Communications. Next slide, please. So for some brief history, the previous owners and building occupants, being Nortel, pursued a site-specific zoning bylaw amendment to permit for what is the existing building on site. Since then, the site was sold to Rogers, who chose to occupy and utilize the building as it exists today. Ultimately, that site-specific zoning bylaw amendment zoned the property Industrial 1A, referred to as M1A in the City of Brampton zoning bylaw, special sections 1274 and 1276. So the property is effectively split zoned. As shown on the slide before you, most of the site is zoned M1A 1274. However, the south corner is zoned M1A 1276. Quick note for the committee, amongst a number of other site-specific zone standards related to this entire parcel, we note that there is a combined max gross floor area cap of 96,100 meters squared over the two zones or the entirety of the subject site. Next slide, please. So at this time, the ownership team is actually exploring to pursue a redevelopment of the subject site for something sort of similar in nature. The graphic before you shows a conceptual development scenario. The scenario shows a bigger building with an outdoor storage area located to the west of the building. We confirm that the outdoor storage area would be used to store oversized vehicles on site associated with the business. So notwithstanding the fact that we believe that the proposed use meets the general intent of the official plan and the zoning bylaw, the proposal does trigger some deficiencies to the, in effect, site-specific zone. Next slide, please. So that brings us to the reason we are here today and the purpose of this minor variance application. During our concept development exercise, we've identified a total of 3 variances that would be required to permit for the concept plan. We confirmed that the minor variance sketch before you is based on the concept plan that we have developed. So 2 of the variances before you today are related to land use permissions, and one of them is related to the maximum gross floor area cap that I briefly spoke to before. So through this application, we're seeking permission for an outdoor storage area that is located to the west of the building. As shown on the sketch, it is highlighted in green in its entirety. For clarity, the outside storage does include permission for parking of oversized trucks and trailers pursuant to the definition in the City of Brampton zoning bylaw. We're also seeking permission for a warehouse use, which is not permitted under the in-effect site-specific zone. I do provide for the information of the committee that while neither the warehouse use or the outdoor storage is permitted under the 2 site-specific zones, the 2 uses actually are permitted under the M1A parent zone in the City of Brampton zoning bylaw. And the final variance, as I mentioned, is related to permission to increase the maximum gross floor area, which is presently capped at 96,100 meters square. We are seeking permission for 132,200 meters square of gross floor area in order to accommodate a potential new redevelopment. This represents about a 27% increase. And next slide, please. So that concludes our brief presentation. Thank you for the committee for the opportunity to present today, and if you have any questions, I'd be happy to take those.
Thank you. Can member any question, comment, concern at this point? Seeing, hearing none, do we have anyone present to speak on this application? Seeing, hearing none, staff, could you please bring your comments?
Thank you. Through you, the chair, staff have reviewed and find that application A-2022-0211 is supportable subject to the following conditions being imposed. Number 1, that the extent of the variances be limited to that shown on the sketch attached to the notice of decision. And number 2, that failure to comply with and maintain the conditions of the committee shall render the approval null and void. Thank you.
Thank you. You understand and accept the recommendations?
Yes, we do. Thank you.
Okay, if no further discussion, looking for a motion to proceed. Motion to support staff recommendation by Mr. Cope, seconded by Ms. Marcus. All in favor? This is carried unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Calling item E.2, A2022-0404, Mohit and Preeti Gupta. The property is addressed as 75 Hollow Grove Boulevard.
Authorized Agent Jiptaj is present. Please go ahead.
Good morning, committee members and staff members. My name is Jiftesh Bela from Noble Prime Solutions, and I'm here to represent the owners of 75 Hollow Grove Boulevard, Mr. Mohit and Preeti Gupta. This application was previously deferred from January 5th, 2023 to allow more time so that we can work closely with the planning staff. Since then, we have worked with them, and I don't have any additional comments to add at this time. We'll wait for the staff comments and we'll be available for any questions.
Thank you. Committee member, any question, comment, concern at this point? Seeing, hearing none. I don't see anyone pre-registered to speak on this application unless someone is here in person to speak. If not, I'll move on to staff. If you can please bring your comments.
Thank you. Through the chair, staff have reviewed and find that application A-2022-0404 is supportable in part subject to the following conditions being imposed. 1, that the extent of the variance be limited to that shown on the sketch attached to the notice of decision. 2, that variance 2 to permit a reduced permeable landscaping strip of 0 meters, whereas a minimum landscaping strip of 0.6 meters is required to be refused. Staff recommend that approval be based on the revised site plan provided